There was Brandy Baby. So over the last few weeks, a lot of noise, particularly by the president, has been made about football players not standing for the national anthem. He said that was tantamount to disrespect to both the soldiers and the anthem. I wonder if you think it's disrespectful for football players to kneel during the anthem. How then is it much more disrespectful for you not to know the name of a slain soldier? Or for you not to know how to speak sensitively to a Gold Star family? If you think it's disrespectful for you to for athletes to not stand to honor those who have fallen for the country, imagine how much more disrespectful it is for you to be so I guess insensitive. Look, Maisha Johnson was on Making the Run about what had happened to her husband, David Johnson, who died in Niger. And one of the things she said was that the president didn't know her husband's name. To me, if you send people off to war, if you are swiftly able to send people off to war, the least you could do is remember those who are fighting for what we call freedom. That's the very least you can do. And if you are angry at athletes not standing, you ought to be equally angry at leaders who send those men off not remembering their name. Maisha Johnson said that that every word that the congresswoman intimated that the president said was true, that she was in tears, that he didn't seem to know his name, her husband's name. Maisha Johnson will now be a single mother through no fault of her own. So if we don't remember, if the president doesn't remember her husband's name, we all have an obligation to remember hers. She gave the ultimate sacrifice. She will be raising 3 kids at least for some amount of time by herself without their father. That to me is a great sacrifice to give to somebody. It's amazing how angry we can get about things that really don't matter and not as angry about things that do. Any number of people are bending over backwards to make excuses for a president who seemed insensitive and out of touch, who was playing golf where men and women were putting themselves in harm's risk. And if we care about, and it's not inconsistent because he's done it with the Khan family. He did it with John McCain. So he all along has been insensitive to soldiers. He said a lot of insensitive things, and we've allowed that. We've allowed things to be said, about questioning the patriotism of men who are on a football field who are not standing for an anthem, and we talked about how disrespectful that was to soldiers. But it's not disrespectful when a president does this. If we care about Gold Star families, we should stop making so many of them. We should be diligent when we send them off to war. They shouldn't be political pawns. It shouldn't be about so people can think that we look tough, or so that our poll numbers stay up. We're a country, a relatively young country, but we've been at war we've been at peace only 17 years. We make a lot of Gold Star families, and a lot of them are unnecessary. But when we do find it necessary to send men and women in harm's way, rather than people playing golf or making athletes feel less than patriotic for not standing for the national anthem, which is the very reason soldiers are in harm's way. They're fighting for freedom, the freedom that allows athletes to do that. The very thing that the least that we should do is to remember their name and treat them with the dignity that they deserve. There should be a Twitter war with a Gold Star mother. There shouldn't be a wife. There shouldn't be a Twitter war like that. You should accept that she was insulted. And the people who support this president should accept that she was insulted. After all, who would know better than her? She's the one who had to kiss empty casket of the casket of a loved one who she'll never see again. Who would know better how she felt than her? Now I don't know what the president's intent was, but he'd have been better served saying that's not what I meant, rather than telling her what she heard. He'd have been better served pretending to know his name. You know people's name. You know Janelle Hill's name when you felt she was disrespectful. You know Colin Kaepernick's name when you felt he was disrespectful. You know everybody's name but the people who you send and put in harm's way. We don't have to know. Maybe the president didn't know his name, but we should all know Maisha Johnson's name because she gave the ultimate sacrifice. And if we care so much about our Gold Star families, if we care so much about the soldiers, rather than just saying words, we should honor them the way that we know is right to do. We should honor them with only putting them in harm's way when it's absolutely necessary. Absolutely. Not to bolster poll numbers, not to prove to somebody we're tough, not to win constituents who think that that's the way you're supposed to be. It should be the last resort to put someone in harm's way. And when we do put them in harm's way, we should drop everything we're doing, particularly if you're the President of the United States of America. If you can remember Colin Kaepernick's name, and you can remember Janelle Hill's name, you should at least have the balls to remember LaDavid Johnson's name. He gave his life following your orders. He gave his life putting himself in harm's way. He gave his life doing the very things that he fought for the athletes to have the right to do. Freedom. All right, that's a little note from the GED section. We got the Jazz Report coming up in 15 minutes. It's the D.L. Hughley Show.